willing to support it. Here's ABC's Ike Ajachi in Washington.
This evening, the Senate is expected to vote to move forward on a sweeping election reform bill after 14 Republican-led states passed voting laws this year, including nearly 400 other bills already filed in 48 states. In March, the House passed the For the People Act, which takes steps to expand absentee and early voting, as well as campaign finance reform, among other measures.
The good news on COVID, the U.S. is nearing 10,000 cases per day. That's the rate at which Dr. Anthony Fauci had said we would effectively have the virus under control. The bad news, only 38% of 18 to 29-year-olds have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. And the highly contagious Delta variant is showing up more and more. Stanford Hospital's Dr. Ryan Rivera.
It's become the dominant variant in most of the countries that it has entered into, and I think that's what we're going to see here as well. It's tripled in the last 2 weeks, and so I think in weeks to months it will become the dominant strain here.
A new report showing how many Americans relied on the government for health care last year.
A government report released Monday shows Medicaid enrollment skyrocketed, with nearly 10 million joining the public health coverage program for the poor through January. 80 million people now use Medicaid coverage, more than any other time during the program's history. States and the federal government share the cost of coverage. Adult enrollment in Medicaid grew twice as quickly as child enrollment last year, leading experts to believe that layoffs and job loss from the pandemic created a huge group of newly eligible adults. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Another government watchdog says deaths among Medicare patients in nursing homes jumped 32% during the pandemic. The NFL now has an openly gay player. Carl Nassib came out on Instagram yesterday. The Las Vegas defensive end says he's agonized about this moment for the past 15 years. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil drilling investments involve a high degree of risk and are only suitable for SEC-accredited investors. Attention high net worth investors. Oil and gas investments have always been an ideal tax advantage and have been a way to invest and take a 100% write-off. The new administration is threatening to take this away. Invest in domestic oil drilling for a full tax credit this year. When you invest in oil, you get a 100% tax write-off. The OPEC cuts, cancellation of the pipeline, and pent-up demand from the pandemic has created the perfect storm for oil prices to shoot upwards. Analysts are predicting it could go over $100. Opportunity is knocking. Support domestic U.S. oil drilling and production and make your patriotic investment in oil and get a complete 100% tax deduction write-off. Call Encore Energy at 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691. 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
3 people killed, including a police officer in a shooting near Denver. ABC's Will Carr.
Authorities investigating a horrific shootout in a busy shopping mall outside Denver, leaving 3 dead, including a veteran police officer. Gunfire erupting in the Old Town neighborhood of Arvada, an area teeming with people. SWAT teams racing to evacuate nearby offices and businesses. A male officer and a suspect dead after a confrontation. Officials confirming the shooting also killed a Good Samaritan.
For the first time, the Senate Homeland Security Committee will hold a hearing today on statehood for Washington, D.C. The mayor plans to testify. Fresh antitrust accusations against Google coming from Europe. Regulators there launching an investigation into whether Google broke competition rules by favoring its own digital advertising technology and possibly stifling competition. Los Angeles may have a bit of a Jetsons look in the next couple of years. ABC's Megan Tavrizian has more on one company that's hoping to make air taxis a reality.
Joby Aviation, a California-based startup, now says its all-electric air taxi will be ready for use in Los Angeles by 2024. The company says its air taxi can travel 150 miles on a single charge, transporting passengers above all those traffic jams below, while reaching up to 200 miles per hour.
And eventually it's hoping to bring the price down enough to make it comparable or even cheaper than owning a car. This is ABC News.
Legacy of Rock, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
AC/DC's journey was always fraught with challenges. Lead singer Brian Johnson says it's par for the course.
And they've always had to fight. Rock and roll was always the rebellious music. It's amazing that we're here.
Legacy of Rock, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the best.
Today, we're going to see temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s with winds out of the southwest. It's going to be a little bit breezy at times, but we have the chance of seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms, especially as we head into the afternoon. Damaging wind speeds will be the main threats. As we head into this evening, drier conditions will move in, and temperatures tonight will fall into the lower 60s. Look for highs tomorrow in the upper 70s and lower 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It is looking like rain out there right now, although it is just cloudy. There's a 70% chance of some precipitation later today. Precipitation amounts up to about 1/4 of an inch possible. Sunny skies tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday. More sunny skies with wind gusting up to about 13 miles per hour. The clouds come back to our forecast on Friday night, and then some on Saturday and Sunday. There is a chance of rain, about 50-50 chance of rain on Sunday. But right now it's cloudy, and our temperature reading is 71, according to Peter, the meter reader. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to WCAB's Morning Report. Coming up, we'll get to the phone calls here in just a few moments. Right now, though, I have these death announcements. Faye Barber Denning, age 90, died Monday, June 21st at Fairhaven of Forest City. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory for Faye Barber Denning. Rose M. Lemons, age 73 of Ellenboro, died Thursday, June 17th at her residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock today at Caroline Congregational Holiness Church with Reverend Timmy Whiteside and Tim Evans. Burial will follow in Mount Olivet Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 6 until late last night. They received those friends last night at the funeral home, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Rose M. Lemons. Dot Taylor Sparks, age 74, passed away Saturday, June 19th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. A celebration of Dot's life will be held 2 p.m. today at Crow's Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service at Crow's Funeral Home. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Dot Taylor Sparks. Hilda Elizabeth Beard Duckworth died Friday, June 18th. A memorial service is planned but will be announced at a later date, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Hilda Elizabeth Beard Duckworth. Elizabeth Ann Blanton Howard of Gilkey passed away Monday, June 7th in Tarpon Springs, Florida at the age of 87. A viewing visitation will be held at 1 o'clock Friday, August 13th at Mountain Creek Baptist Church in Gilkey, followed by a funeral service, which begins at 2 o'clock. A graveside committal and reception will follow the funeral service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Elizabeth Ann Blanton Howard of Gilkey. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35 and then again this afternoon at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report for the complete obituaries of these and others as they become available to us. 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, the phone call's coming up here in just a few moments. Let me remind you the Braves had a doubleheader yesterday. They won one, lost one. First game, the Mets beat them 4-2. The second game, Braves came back and shut out the Mets 1-0. Now the Braves will be back in action again this evening. It's a nighttime game with the Mets at 7:10 first pitch, and we'll be joining the pregame following News 13 at 6 right here on WCAB. Speaking of baseball, the RS Central Hilltoppers baseball team will be hosting Forbush tonight at 7 o'clock. There will be a 2A West Regional game with the winner advancing to this weekend's state championship. Tickets are $8, and the gates will open at 5:30 at RS Central. Congratulations to the RS Central Hilltoppers.
Thousands of abandoned animals in the USA need your help. Delta Rescue, founded by actor Leo Grillo, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Their trained staff take animals in, provide them with food, water, treats, and affection. And your donation may be eligible to help lower your taxes. So please visit deltarescue.org/bill now. On this Tuesday, some folks who don't much like President Biden ripped his performance in Europe last week. But I am not one of those people. The president did okay. He's not exactly Winston Churchill out there, but we all know that. He yelled at a CNN reporter, so good for him. But Mr. Biden did nothing to hurt the country in Europe. Now, that's a dramatic contrast to what the president is doing here in the USA. He is hurting all of us badly. Let's run it down. There is more inflation now than in any time in the past 30 years. That means all of us will pay more for the things we need, like food, like fuel, like clothing. You name it, it's going up. On the southern border, almost 200,000 migrants a month are being encountered by U.S. authorities. That is all on Biden's plate. And as you know, in our major cities, violent crime is through the roof. So here, President Biden is hurting us. Overseas, he didn't do any damage. Now this. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB, Rutherfordton. At Shriners Hospitals for Children, there are a million reasons to share love. My buddy Caleb is one of them. This is his story.
Hi, I'm Caleb, and this is my story. I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, or brittle bone disease. I have broken my bones almost 200 times, and I have had 11 surgeries. But I didn't let that stop me. I love to bike ride, climb, race, and I'm learning how to stand and walk. But I can only do all of this because of generous people like you and Shriners Hospitals for Children.
There are a million reasons to share love, but you only need one. Caleb is one reason. To learn how you can share love, visit loveshriners.org.
Thank you.
Born in Tennessee, George Flatt went out to Caldwell, Kansas. George had a bit of a stubborn streak that came out in July of 1879. After more than a few drinks, a couple of cowboys in the Occidental Saloon started shooting their pistols. Constable Kelly and a posse that included George Flatt came to take care of the problem. The posse cautiously entered the saloon and saw the two cowboys with their guns pointed at them. The cowboys started for the door, but Flatt stepped forward and blocked the door. Carrying two guns, the cowboy demanded that he drop them. Flatt responded, "I'll die first." A shot from one of the cowboys whizzed past Flatt's head. Flatt went into action. Each gun took out a cowboy. Things moved fast in Caldwell. In a matter of weeks, George Flatt advanced from posse member to the city's first marshal. And capitalizing on his newfound fame, he went into partnership with William Horseman, operating a saloon. But many times, as fast as things go well, just as fast they turn bad. Flatt was a heavy drinker. And within a year, not only had his partnership with Horseman fallen apart, but Horseman had even replaced him as city marshal. Then on Saturday evening, June 19, 1880, after spending some time drinking in the bars, George Flatt headed for home. From the dark, a rifle shot rang out. It hit Flatt in the skull. Once he was down, 3 more slugs filled his body. Yes, things moved fast in Caldwell, Kansas. From a marshal and businessman to a dead drunk laying face down in the dirt in less than a year. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644, and don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
It's 7:16. Coming up this morning about 8:30, my guest in the studio is going to be Pat Chamberlain. He's the founder of Out of the Ashes Ministry. We'll talk with him about what's happening in that area. This morning at 8:30, join us for that. Right now, it's time to go to the phones and talk with Sheriff Chris Francis about what's been happening in his world. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you?
I am well, Jim Bishop. I hope you're doing good this morning.
I am doing well. I just looked out the window. We're getting rain already here this morning.
There's nothing wrong with a little rain this time of year. As the grass is a little bit dry and the garden starts to dry, it's always good to get rain.
Always good to rain on those Mater plants.
That's exactly right.
What's going on over there?
Jim, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 176 calls for service. There have been 17 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 194. Among those arrested, Thomas Roy Whitesides, 48-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with a probation violation, received no bond. Dakota Graham Jenkins, 22-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with failure to appear, received a $6,000 secure bond. Christine Crane, 39-year-old female of Spindale, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secure bond. Excuse me, Justin Joseph Garello, 37-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with assaulting a female, communicating threats, and larceny, and received a $5,000 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a break and entering to a motor vehicle in Hudlow Road there in Forest City. There was a pink wristwatch valued at $100. There are 2 suspects in that case, and warrants should be forthcoming. We have a damage to property on Piney Mountain Road in Ellenborough. Someone had keyed a 2004 Cadillac DeVille that had broken down on the side of the road. Estimated damage to the paint was $400. We had a failure to work after pay, Seaboard Road in Ellenborough. There was $4,800 that was given to a man to be purchasing what was needed to fix a roof, and he did not produce those materials or do the work, and that is being looked at both civilly and criminally. So we'll hopefully come to some sort of conclusion for that victim there. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff, I appreciate that report very much, and appreciate you being with us on the radio.
My privilege. You tell Pat Chamberlain I said hello, and looking forward to seeing him this weekend.
Good. I'll sure do that. You have a great day.
Thank
Be
you,
safe
sir.
out there.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sheriff Chris Francis, 19 now past 7.
Good morning. The impact COVID-19 has had on our community has caused many changes. And some of these changes is our jobs. If your job situation is changing because of a layoff or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One of these decisions is what to do with your retirement plan. Let's make sure that your investment plan stays on track and doesn't derail your retirement ideas. Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale from Rutherford, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I would love to help you. please give us a call at 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and member of the SIPC. Bye.
And now here's Tina with a report from 911 Communications Center. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 513 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 46 for EMS, 21 for rescue, 176 for the Sheriff's Office, 86 for Forest City, 13 for Lake Lure, 52 for Rutherfordton, and 65 for Spindale. For fire calls, we had Forest City respond to a motor vehicle accident. We also had Forest City respond to a residential fire alarm. We had Fairfield respond to a residential fire alarm. We had Hudlow respond to a structure fire with Rutherford, Spindale, and Union Mills assisting. We had Lake Lure respond to a residential fire alarm, and that's all we had.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now let's go down to Danieltown, SDO Fire District. Ruby Taylor, good morning.
Good morning.
You getting rain over there?
Not yet. I hope we do, because my beans and tomatoes and stuff need it.
They sure do. It looked like it was coming, a little shower a moment ago, and we have some of that off and on all day today, I believe.
I hope we do.
What's on your report?
Well, the fire department didn't have anything, and on my birthday counter, I've got John Terry and Barry Morgan having birthdays, and hope these people have a nice day, and Mr. and Mrs. Craig Collins is having an anniversary, and hope they have a nice day. The signs are in the thighs today and tomorrow. And, Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your day. Watch that rain.
Well, I hope so.
Bye.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Braves' next game is tonight against the Mets, 7:10 first pitch, and we'll join the pregame following News 13 at 6, and then we'll go right into the pregame. And last night they split off, yesterday afternoon and last night they split off a doubleheader. Mets beat them 4-2 in the first game. Braves came back and shut out the Mets 1-0 in the second game. Now here's Gary Wilson up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District with our report today. Good morning, Gary. Let me see if I can get Gary on the phone here. It might be good. Might be good if I get him on the phone. Gary, you there? Gary, you there?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I had the wrong time flipping the buttons in here this morning.
You flipped the right one that time.
Finally got it flipped right. You getting any rain up there?
We've had just a few drops out here. Just a little light sprinkle earlier, but cloudy and overcast and about 70 degrees and sure warm enough to rain out there, that's for sure. Hopefully we'll get a little bit this morning. And got hot yesterday. I believe that was our hottest day. It was humid.
Oh, it's humid, yeah.
But, I guess we shouldn't complain. It's summertime after all.
It is.
If it was 35 degrees, we'd be wondering what was going on, wouldn't we?
That's right.
But it's been quiet overnight up here pretty much. We had one call yesterday during the day, fire call for the department. And other than that, we've had a fairly peaceful 24 hours and maybe sneaking in a little bit of rain this morning and helped dry things down a little bit. We had about an inch over the weekend, so that was helpful. Everything is sure greened out now, and grass is growing faster than you can mow it, looks like. But we're good to go up here otherwise, I guess, Jim.
All right, Gary, I do appreciate it. Thank you. And keep your eye on things for us, and we'll check in with you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you then.
Thanks, Gary. Gary Wilson up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District. He overlooks things there and keeps us posted on Bills Creek as well. It's 25 past 7.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Let's check in on Bob Hodge now over in the Hudlow Fire District, see what's happening on this Tuesday morning. Bob, how you doing?
We're doing just fine on this little rainy Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it looks good out there, doesn't it?
Oh, it's cooler weather this morning. Boy, it got hot yesterday, didn't it?
Boy, I tell you, it did indeed.
So it feels a lot better up here this morning. And again, with the fire department, we answered one medical call, and then around 8 o'clock last night, we had to call to a structure fire on Roy Gorns Road, and was assisted by Union Mills and Relton on that fire. And other than that, things are going along good so far this morning.
Well, maybe this rain will keep some fires from breaking out, do you think?
Yeah, maybe so there. That was a single-wide mobile home fire, so it's pretty well destroyed, I think.
Guess they lost everything.
Yes, they did.
It's always sad when that happens.
I know it. But, Jim, things are going along good so far now this morning, and you take care, and you have a good day over there.
Bob, thanks, you too, and I will check in with you tomorrow.
All right,
thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now we're going over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District, I believe, and check in with Sue Price and see what's going on over there. Good morning, Sue. How are you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. I hope you are.
I am indeed.
Well, good. Looks like it's going to be another nice day for us. Well, I said it hadn't been calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my calendar. And nothing on Fairviews today. Let's see. First of all, it's got a birthday for Vicki Hoyle, so I hope Vicki's going to have a good day. And don't have any announcements. Hadn't anything come in, so it's just quiet over here. We had a good meeting last night at the clubhouse. It's good to get out. We got out and went. It's the first time we've been to the meeting in a long time. It's good to be out again a little bit.
Everybody have to reintroduce themselves?
Just about. But we had a good meeting. We had a couple of visitors. Nice to have them with us. They live in Florida, so just had a good time. And I guess that's all I've got this morning, Jim. I don't have any announcements, so if anybody, any of the churches have anything, I'd be glad to announce it for them if they'll give me a call. And I hope you'll have a good day today.
Thanks, Sue. You too. Watch it rain, and I'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:29 here on the radio at WCAB, broadcast live from the Blue Room, and we have 71 degrees reporting this morning.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Investigators with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office are asking for the public's help in identifying subjects in a May 28th breaking and entering incident at Reed's Used Cars and Warehouses at 407 U.S. Highway 221A in Forest City. If you have information regarding the identities of these people, please contact the Sheriff's Office at 286-2911 or Crime Stoppers at 286-TIPS, and let's get these people off the street. If you know anything about it, or think you might, contact the Sheriff's Department. All right, we're going over to the Drop-In Family Mart in Bostic, and Audrey's on the phone today to give us an update on what that's cooking over there. Audrey, how you doing?
I'm good, Jim. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. Sound like you're busy over there.
Yeah, we are. It's been a little steady this morning, but, that's always a good sign. So
It's a good thing.
The girls are back there. Yeah, the girls are back cooking breakfast, and they got a good gravy back there, a good ham biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage. And, I don't know if Jess has mentioned it, but they got new little hash browns back there they're doing.
She did mention that. She said they were very good.
Yes, and they are. I tried some myself this morning, and they're really awesome.
Good.
So, I know it's raining, but, people can still get out and about and come by and see us and pick up breakfast.
Be a good idea to take a bag of breakfast to work with them and feed the fellow employees with it, wouldn't it?
That's right. I always think of them and stop by and get them some good breakfast.
Anything else going on?
And, Jim, I know, back in the meat market, we got Gene back there cutting meat this morning. And he's got a good fresh salmon back there. And he's got, I don't know if Jess mentioned, too, that we're doing the grass-fed sirloin, the tenderloin steaks now. And the ribeyes, and, that's some really good meat, too. I didn't realize it was that good until I tried one of the tenderloins about a week ago. And now I tell you what, Jim, it's good, too.
Yeah, very tender meat.
Yes, very tender. So I know tomorrow we'll have our truck come in and we'll have fresh load of produce and, everything. So just stop by and see us and say hello.
Well, I know with July 4th coming up, will you carry a lot of picnic supplies over there for folks to pick up and take with them on picnics?
Yes, sir, we sure will. We'll have just about anything you want, even coming down to a cooler, if somebody's going out and about, we have plenty of ice and coolers and, even a good comfortable chair if somebody wanted to stop by and they're in a hurry and ain't got time to go into town. We have mostly anything you'd want there to pick up and take with you on that picnic.
All right. Sound like a good place to shop, Audrey, and I appreciate you being with us today. Enjoy your day. Watch the rain over there, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Jim. You have a great day also.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And bye-bye.
That's the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic, right across from the post office there. It's a great place to stop in anytime for groceries or to get a snack or breakfast or lunch. It's 7:33, and we're moving on around the county. We'll get to our next phone call, going up to Shingle Hollow, I believe, next.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Now, 734, let's move up the road a little ways to Shingle Hollow Fire District. Tina White, good morning.
Good morning from Shingle Hollow.
Is it raining up there?
Not right this minute, but about 5 minutes ago it was sprinkling.
Yeah.
Heavy overcast. We want all the rain we can get today, I think.
Slow, steady pace. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
No flooding, right.
That's right.
Well, it's 69 degrees up here this morning, and of course, rainy. The fire department's Green Hill was all quiet. Shingle Hollow had one medical call. Jeff Jackson wants to remind everyone that RS Central baseball team is having their playoffs, the state playoffs this evening at 7. Everybody come out to Central and watch those boys play. It's the fourth one in the state. And for church announcements, get ready to party with Mountain Creek Baptist Church. There's a summer block party Saturday, July 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. Live music, hot dogs, and a magic show. Fun for the entire family. Birthdays. Piney Knob doesn't have anybody. Pleasant Grove has a birthday for Miss Lillian Frazier. I hope she has a great big birthday. And White House Community Clubhouse is having their once-a-month breakfast buffet this Saturday morning, June 26th from 7 to 10 a.m. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet, $6 for adults, $3 for children 5 and under, from 3 to 5, and then under 3 is free. And all proceeds go to the building fund to help keep up the building. That's all I've got this morning.
This is an important game for RS Central tonight at 7. It'll be a 2A West Regional game with the winner tonight advancing to this weekend's state championships. Tickets are $8, and the gates will open at 5:30 at RS Central, so it means people can go out and support them and push them on to the next step. Be great.
Yes.
And we wish them
I'm excited for those, Billis. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's all I got, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Tina,
everybody
thanks.
stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. Again, let me mention Pat Chamberlain, founder of Out of the Ashes, will be my guest this morning at 8:30. Hope you listen to that conversation and find out more about what's taking place positively in our county. Pat Chamberlain right here live in the Blue Room at 8:30 this morning. Let's check in now up at Union Mills. Brenda Kelly is on the phone right now to give us the Kelly update. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this terrific rainy Tuesday morning?
We're getting a good little shower right here right now. Pretty heavy rain.
I went out early before 6 o'clock to water my flowers, and I thought, well, is that raindrops I feel? I watered them, and it started raining, but that's all right.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Da, 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 da.
I'm glad to see it.
Oh, my goodness. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 64 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries today, but in ways of announcements, Gilkey School Community Center on June the 26th is going to have a community yard sale. Bring your tables, and this will be outside. And for information, call 429-9075. And then the Union Mills Community Clubhouse will have a covered dish meal, and that's today. I got it right, at 12 noon. So bring a covered dish and join in with them. Then we got a country breakfast buffet Saturday, June the 26th, 7 to 10 a.m., White House Community Center. This is at 5408 Painters Gap Road, Union Mills, NC, 28167. Adults, $6. Children, 6 to 12, $3. Children 5 and under, free. They got all kind of good food, and all proceeds go for upkeep of the building. And for bookings, you can call Maria Deckert at 828-625-9240. And so far, I think that's all I've got going on. So that's all I know of up here in this beautiful part of Rutherford County.
Well, it certainly is that, and a beautiful morning because we're loving the rainfall right now.
That's right. We needed it, didn't we?
Of course, if it starts gully washing and flooding out, we won't like that too good.
No, and we don't want no bad storms, but
No.
Ain't there a chance of bad storms?
There is a chance of some stormy weather today.
Oh, well.
When
you said stormy weather, it made me think, when I used to live in Mississippi, I had this boyfriend, and he called me Stormy.
Stormy?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that, do you think?
Yeah, he said I had a bad temper.
I can't believe that, Brenda.
But that was a flashback when you said Stormy.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Long time ago.
My goodness. Well, you've settled down though since then, haven't you?
Just a kosher bit.
Well, listen, you enjoy your day up there.
You have a good one. We'll catch you later.
All right, bye-bye. 7:41, and it's a terrific Tuesday morning.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Mr. Gilligan is on the phone with me right now. He reports from Ellenboro with the Fire District Corps and the community, and he's recuperating nicely, we hope, and he's on the phone right now. Luther, good morning.
Good morning, you two. We're having a good day there, waiting on the sun to come up.
I don't know about today.
Well,
it's shining somewhere, though. There's sun shining somewhere.
I'm just in the wrong place. But it's quiet there. Fire department, they didn't have anything all day yesterday. Last night, everything quiet this morning. Just nothing going on. So we just want to sit back and drink coffee, enjoy the biscuits, and have a good time. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
That sounds like a plan, Luther, and I'll see you then.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye. It's time now for birthdays and anniversaries here on this Tuesday morning, the 22nd. If you're celebrating a birthday or anniversary, now's the time to call Todd and let him know that, and we'll celebrate with you, give a big shout-out for those of you who are celebrating another year, passing on to another year, and this is great when you can do that. And we can live to see another year pass, although they're passing faster and faster, it seems sometimes, aren't they? My. Anniversaries, I know you're proud of that too. So call us and let us know who they are, 287-3356. And, of course, you know about the delectable Granny B's De La Donuts. Many of you have had those, as I have. Now you can experience the delicious Granny B's Pizza Combo. Many of you have had that, as I have. You heard me right, Granny B's Pizza Combo. Choose from 13 different combinations. What's your preference? Well, you can order your preference Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until about 8:30. And the phone number to call, write it down so you'll have it near your phone. I'll put it in your phone so you can just pull up Granny B's Pizza Call 286-9012. That's 286-9012. And you'll never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's combo pizza. Oh, sure, it'll be all right to save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts. Yep, it's okay. They're right on Main Street, West Main Street in Spindale.
Happy birthday.
Congratulate and wish a happy birthday to Haley Rothrock of Ellenboro, and Barbara Cannell is having a birthday today, so happy birthday to these two fine folks. We hope you have many, many more happy returns. Thank you for sharing your birthday with us here on WCAB Rutherfordton. Now, the Keys to Confident Living coming up in just a moment, and top of the hour, Andrew Tisdale scheduled to be with us in the Blue Room to talk about making sense of our finances. And then 8:30 this morning, we have a special guest coming in to us to talk with us, Pat Chamberlain. He's the founder of Out of the Ashes, and you'll want to learn more about that program and the effect it's having on the county. And we'll have Pat in here at 8:30 this morning. 9:05 this morning, My Great America with Jim and Butch. It all happens right here exclusively on WCAB Rutherford.
Concern for others is a worthy virtue, but sometimes right intentions can be misunderstood. There is the illustration of the young mother who had been too busy to visit her elderly neighbor who was ill. So she said to her small son, "Johnny, run over and see how old Mrs. Smith is." Within a few minutes, the boy was back. She says, "It's none of your business how old she is." The mother's intentions were good, but something happened in the communication. At other times, our concern may not originate from a pure motive. This is where good intentions have come into the most question. We may only possess a pseudo-concern. A lady answered the knock on her door to find a man with a sad expression. "I'm sorry to disturb you," he said, "but I'm collecting money for an unfortunate family in the neighborhood. The husband is out of work, the kids are hungry, the utilities will soon be cut off, and worse, they're going to be kicked out of their apartment if they don't pay the rent by this afternoon." "I'll be happy to help," said the woman with great concern. "But who are you?" "I'm the landlord," he replied. The Bible says that our goal should be genuine love that comes from a pure heart. Good works are good in spite of the motive, but they are best when they come from a heart that has pure intentions. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
COVID-19 case numbers are down to the lowest level since March of 2020 in the U.S. Maryland reporting 0 COVID deaths 2 days in a row. However, Missouri, Alabama, Arkansas, and Oklahoma have seen new outbreaks as vaccination rates stall.
New CDC data showing who is and isn't getting the vaccine. 80% of those over 65 had gotten at least one dose. However, only 38% of people ages 18 to 29 had gotten the vaccine. Experts say fewer vaccinations among younger people puts that age group particularly at risk.
That's ABC's Eva Pilgrim. The highly contagious Delta variant of the coronavirus showing up in India and Canada and here in the United States as well. ABC News medical contributor Dr. John Brownstein.
We know that masking can start to go away if you're vaccinated and you can start to gather. But unfortunately, those that are unvaccinated are following some of those same behaviors. And because of that, we will have unmitigated spread of the Delta variant in those populations.
In India and Canada, even some who have been vaccinated are showing up with the Delta variant. Those cases have all been mild. A government watchdog says deaths among Medicare patients in nursing homes soared in the past year during COVID. NFL player Carl Nassib coming out on Instagram, making him pro football's first active player to announce he is gay. ABC's Will Gans with more on reaction.
The league and sports icons are honoring Carl's uniqueness and celebrating his courage. Carl's head coach John Gruden telling ESPN, "I learned a long time ago that what makes a man different is what makes him great." In addition to coming out, Carl Nassib also announcing a $100,000 donation to the Trevor Project, an organization that does work with LGBTQ+ youth and suicide prevention.
Even though Republicans have said they'll block even debate on the For the People Act, the Senate Democrats are moving forward with the voting rights bill today. You're listening to ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
A court ruling that scrapped California's 30-year-old ban on assault-style weapons has been put on hold. ABC's Alex Stone.
Judge Roger Benitez's ruling on June 4th got notice for his likening the AR-15 to a Swiss Army knife, saying it was good for both home and battle. And he claimed the COVID-19 vaccine has killed more Californians than mass shootings have. The judge has a history of ruling against California's gun laws. Now the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has put Judge Benitez's ruling on hold while an appellate process plays out. It leaves California's assault weapons law in effect for the time being. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Delta Airlines is looking for pilots. Reuters says it plans to hire at least 1,000 pilots by next summer. And a French woman who says she killed her husband after years of abuse is now on trial for murder. ABC's Inez de la Quatera has the story from Paris.
It's a story that's captivated France in recent months. 40-year-old Valérie Bacot admitting in a book published in May that she shot her husband, Daniel Paulette, in self-defense in 2016. Bacot claims Paulette beat and raped her repeatedly, writing in her book she feared for her and her children's safety. Quote, "I had to put an end to it," she says. "I was afraid all the time." The trial is expected to last until Friday. Bacot faces life sentence for murder. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Paris.
This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are here to help. We'll make sure you have all the supplies you need to make the job quick and easy. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95. Plus, get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Jesse James Railroad Express is becoming the Rutherford County hotspot with new lunch menu,
quarter pounder Angus beef burger topped with bacon, cheddar cheese, bang bang sauce, and onion rings, or the new 5-3-1 burger, half-pound charbroiled Angus burger with special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a toasted bun. It's everything that Big Mac wishes it could be. On top of that, milkshakes, hand-dipped ice cream also available. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 until 4. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Call them at 828-447-4644. 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, Mondays only. That's 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. All aboard.
We're going to see temperatures today in the upper 70s and lower 80s with those winds moving in out of the southwest. A few scattered showers will be possible early, but this afternoon it's going to be a soaker out there with showers and thunderstorms building in. Some could be strong to severe, bringing damaging wind speeds into the region. By this evening, we'll be drier and temperatures will fall into the lower 60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Cloudy skies. We've had some rain earlier this morning. Was it raining when you came in? Sprinkling right now here in the beautiful downtown Whiteside Road area. Expecting to get about a 70% chance of that throughout today with wind gusting to about 11 miles per hour. But right now, cloudy, misting, and 72 degrees. Much needed rain here in our neighborhood. It's 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are going to welcome Andrew Tisdale to the microphones here in just a moment.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
Right now it's Tuesday morning, and that is Andrew Tisdale morning in the Blue Room. He's with Edward Jones, making sense of investing. He's the financial advisor over there in Rutherfordton and the Foothills, and we welcome Andrew right now to the microphone. Good morning, Andrew Tisdale.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing great. You had a good Father's Day, I hope.
Any day with kids
is a good Father's
Day,
That's
even if they're not there.
And you've got a good father.
I do. I got a great father. Very blessed, and he had a great father. Yeah, and other grandfathers, and I've been blessed.
Yes, aren't we all? Better than we deserve.
I agree.
What you got on your mind this morning?
Talking about generations, talking about parents, talking about things that are connected to the family. Let's talk about why estate plans are so important, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, whether you're widowed, or whether you've been single your whole life. Even if you don't have a spouse or children, you think you probably don't need to do too much estate planning. You may say, well, I don't have enough to do anything. Let's just think about that for a second. If you have anything, any type of assets, and any family connections, and any interest in supporting any type of charitable group, not to mention a desire to control your own future, you do need to establish an estate plan. And evaluating your needs for this type of planning, what do I need to think about? Well, let's start about with what would happen if you don't have one. That is, if you don't have a last will and testament, or in other words, you don't have a plan where everything needs to be distributed after your death, everything's going to have to go through a probate process, which means then the court, according to our state laws, will give your stuff away on how that law reads. So if you don't have children yourself, or you do, or you have some cousins, or you have some friends, and you have other people that you might want to leave some things to, you have to be able to have something in place to spell that out, because the law's not going to know you. The law is just going to be read as it was written. If that goes through probate, there is no guarantee that anybody you really want to share this with will get anything that you have. Even charitable contributions. If you want to give to a charitable contribution, you may want to think about a charitable trust. Under this type of arrangement, you can transfer your assets, such as stocks or mutual funds, securities, to an irrevocable trust. And the trustee who you've named could serve as the trustee yourself. And then how long for generations and generations is that going to last? So your actual gift can last for generations and help people for generations. there's so much complexities in estate planning when we talk about it, but when we sit down and think about it with a qualified professional like an attorney or your financial advisor can get the ball rolling, it is pretty simple. It's just you need to realize that if you don't do it, then you have no control over nothing.
I'll be happy to be somebody's son or grandson if they want to estate planning.
Estate planning.
But Jim Bishop in there as a recipient of that.
Yeah, do you want me to advertise your phone number?
Andrew Tisdale, always words of wisdom when he comes to talk about financial advising, making sense of investing. He's with Edward Jones, and you'll find him at 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. And that phone number is 287-9197. It's always a pleasure.
Been an honor.
Good to see you.
See you.
See you next week. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, we got news from here and there this morning. Suspects in recent breaking and entering incident. Investigators with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office are asking for the public's help in identifying suspects in a May 28th breaking and entering incident at Reed's Used Cars and Warehouses, 407 U.S. Highway 221A in Forest City. If you have information regarding the identity of the people shown on the pictures that the Sheriff's Department has sent out, please contact the Sheriff's Office at 286-2911 or Crime Stoppers at 828-286-TIPS. The folks who break in like that or rob Dollar Generals and grocery stores and Walmarts, they got to remember there's a camera pointed everywhere anymore. You can't do your pictures. There are pictures all over the place now. There's a female and a male, and one of them's walking up the ramp there at the warehouses. The other one is in looks like the parking lot. So once folks see those pictures, they're caught. RS Central High School baseball team is hosting Forbush tonight at 7 o'clock. This will be a 2A West Regional game with the winner advancing to this weekend's state championship. Tickets are $8 and the gates will open at 5:30 at RS Central. So if you have an opportunity to go out and support that team, please do so and cheer them on to victory. As I mentioned earlier several times, my guest this morning at 8:35 is Pat Chamberlain. He's the founder of Out of the Ashes, and he'll be here to talk about that ministry and what it's been doing for the county and what it's been doing, maybe some folks that you know and love. And we'll talk with Pat this morning about 8:30. 9:05 is My Great America with Jim and Butch. Well, downtown Forest City's second Cherry Bounce Festival welcomed hundreds of visitors over the weekend. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Most of those visitors came from western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, but residents as far away as Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Florida joined in the festival. Those states were identified from a survey that collected zip codes, according to Amy Bridges, event organizer with the town of Forest City. She said, "We estimated that somewhere between 1,100 to 1,200 people attended the concert on Friday night. We do not have estimated numbers for Saturday since people flowed in and out of Pops all day. The Main Street merchants reported having a good day Saturday with heavy foot traffic all day, and many were out-of-town visitors." The Cherry Bounce Festival marked Forest City's first festival, second concert at Pops since resuming activities in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Bridges added, "We felt the festival was a success. After a year of no events, folks were excited to be able to get out and attend the festival that included live music, food trucks, and art vendors. And this year they were able to end the festival at an Owls baseball game and fireworks." Amy extended the town's appreciation for the turnout and for making the festival a success. And many of you said how much you enjoyed that. Well, the Daily Courier is reporting about the Feed Your Mind series, summer series of forums organized by United Way of Rutherford County. Kickoff with its first forum on Wednesday. Also sponsored by Harvest House Baptist Church, the Reverend Travis McIntyre, and New Bethel AME Zion Church, the Reverend Keith Lipsey. The event will be held at New Bethel AME Zion beginning at 6:30. The topic of Wednesday's forum is historic trauma in African American communities. It will be led by Dr. Brendan Hargett. After his presentation, there will be a group discussion, question and answer session. According to United Way, the history of African Americans and other people of color in the United States is often not fully told, particularly the history that can create individual and collective trauma. The next forums are July 1st, the criminal justice system and mental trauma, Thursday, July 15th, cultural sensitivity, and Thursday, July 29th, health disparities and advocacy. All these forums are held at New Bethel AME Zion Church, Forest Street, Forest City. Well, one of 18 scientists who recently published a letter acknowledging the plausibility of the coronavirus lab leak theory said she and her colleagues didn't speak out sooner. Give you 3 guesses as to why. They didn't speak out sooner because President Trump promoted that possibility for the origin of the pandemic. I wonder if President Trump had been standing on a roadway knowing the bridge ahead of him was washed out, and President Trump would have said, "Don't go any further, the bridge is washed out." I wonder if people would have ignored him, said, "Let's go anyway," and run off into the despair of a bridge over a rustling river. That's what was taking place here. Donald Trump was saying so, and they were not going along with it because it came from Donald Trump. At the time, it was scarier to be associated with Trump and to become a tool for racists, so people didn't want to publicly call for an investigation into lab origins, said Alina Chan in the interview with NBC News. Chan is a postdoctoral associate at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard University who specializes in genetic engineering. On its website, NBC titled its Wednesday story about the interview, quote, "The science around the lab leak theory hasn't changed, but here's why some scientists have," end quote. NBC wrote, Chan said there had been trepidation among some scientists about publicly discussing the lab leak hypothesis for fear that their words could be misconstrued or used to support racist rhetoric about how the coronavirus emerged. Trump fueled accusations that the Wuhan Institute of Virology, a research lab in the city where the first COVID-19 cases were reported, was connected to the outbreak, and on numerous occasions he called the Wuhan virus or the Kung flu. 1 year ago, at the White House, Trump was asked by a reporter, "Have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?" Trump says, yes, I have. And I think the World Health Organization should be ashamed of themselves because they're like the public relations agency for China. So people were afraid to say, I think this is what's happening because Donald Trump said he thought that's what's happening. The Washington Post had a similar explanation for the sudden openness to a lab leak theory in the story last month titled Timeline, How the Wuhan Lab Leak Theory Suddenly Became Credible. The author was Glenn Kessler, who writes the Post's fact-checker column, said that in recent months the idea that the virus emerged from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, or the WIV, once dismissed as a ridiculous conspiracy theory, has gained new credence. He said the Trump administration's messaging was often accompanied by anti-Chinese rhetoric that made it easier for skeptics to ignore his claim. Well, Trump, however, argued that he was using that conventional nomenclature regarding pandemics based on their place of origin, such as the Hong Kong flu. His use of the terms China and Wuhan, he repeatedly emphasized, was in reference to the Chinese Communist Party charging the government was engaged in a deadly and costly cover-up. But they just would not want to admit that because Donald Trump said this is the way it was. But now they're turning around, changing their mind. So here stands Donald Trump just at the entrance of a big long bridge that's leaking and no traffic can go through. They're falling in the water. Donald Trump said, "Don't go this way. The bridge is out. Turn around and go back." Oh, no, Donald Trump saying it. I'm going on anyway. So there you go, folks. There you go. And as they would say across the valley, there you go, there you go. Well, one can only guess why Nevada's governor thought people meeting in a church were more dangerous than COVID spreaders than people gathering in casinos or bowling alleys. But when Democrat Governor Steve Sisolak issued an edict saying only 50 people could meet in a church, but casinos could have up to 50% capacity, Calvary Chapel in Dayton decided to resist and object to the obvious discrimination. The lower district court ruled against the church, but an appeal to the Ninth Circuit led to a 3-judge panel last December ruling in favor of Calvary Chapel, saying that the government could have imposed limitations on churches similar to those imposed on other entities like retail stores, while still achieving the goal of slowing the spread of COVID-19. The court ruled Calvary Chapel's claim that his First Amendment right to the free exercise of religion had been hindered by the state would likely succeed on his merits. At the time of the December 2020 Ninth Circuit ruling, Alliance Defending Freedom Senior Counsel David Cortman, representing the church, called it a significant win, so the state paid $175,000 for discrimination against Christians. So you see, folks, when I say it's time for Christians to stand up and take hold and stand in the battle and not wimp out, sometimes there's a great wind. I thought this one right here was kind of a sad note for the way the blindness of some people. America has come to the point where baby animals are treated with more dignity and respect than baby humans. For example, in Colorado, a 5-week-old bald eaglet died last week after the tree it was living in split down the middle, according to CBS Denver. Local news outlets noted the baby bird's death and mentioned plans for its funeral. Meanwhile, the same state allows unborn babies to be aborted for any reason up to birth. The hundreds of viable late-term babies who are killed there every year never make the news, and few ever mourn their death. But in the case of the eaglet, park officials at Stanley Lake Regional Park said the bird's body will be cremated and buried with a sacred ceremony in a blessed burial site located in Rocky Mountain Arsenal and National Wildlife Refuge. The refuge was created for bald eagles buried by the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma. Park officials said, "Our hearts are heavy. We mourn with all of you today and understand how painful it has been to watch the tragic events transpire at this nest over the last year." Well, I'm sad the eaglet died as well. There's a very little mourning outside the pro-life movement for human babies who are intentionally killed in abortions. Why no outcry there? In Colorado, for instance, there are no limits on abortions, and the state boasts one of the few openly practicing late-term abortionists, Warren Hurd. Colorado reported 171 abortions at 21 weeks or later in 2019. The department official admitted that the number is almost certainly an undercount, and pro-lifers estimate the number is close to 300. Each of these babies was precious, unique, and valuable, and God had his hand on each one of those babies. Evidence suggests most of them probably were healthy, capable of feeling pain, and able to survive outside the womb. Abortion lobbyists admit that most late-term abortions are done on healthy mothers carrying healthy babies. And according to research by the pro-abortion Guthammer's Institute, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but most women seeking later terminations are not doing so for reasons of fatal abnormality or life endangerment. So the situation in Colorado is just one example of society mixed-up priorities. Another came out of New Jersey in 2019 when two pro-abortion lawmakers introduced legislation to protect unborn cows from being slaughtered. The same lawmakers have a 100% pro-abortion voting record from Planned Parenthood because they support aborting unborn babies for basically any reason without restriction, but protect those unborn cows from being slaughtered. A good society protects the vulnerable, but America is not doing that as long as it continues to allow the killing of babies in the womb. I sound like a broken record sometime, I know, but folks, we got to get that message in our brain. Killing unborn babies is not the thing to do. It is not healthy for us. It's not healthy for the person that does it. And it's certainly not healthy for America as we continue to go down that path. Sheriff's Report up next.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded 176 calls for service. There have been 17 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 194. Among those arrested, Thomas Roy Whitesides, 48-year-old male of Morrisboro, was charged with a probation violation, received no bond. Dakota Graham Jenkins, 22-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with failure to appear, received a $6,000 secure bond. Christine Crane, 39-year-old female of Spindale, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secure bond. Excuse me. Justin Joseph Gorello, 37-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with assaulting a female, communicating threats, and larceny, and received a $5,000 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a break and entering to a motor vehicle in Hudlow Road there in Forest City. There was a pink wristwatch valued at $100. There are two suspects in that case, and one should be forthcoming. We have a damage to property on Piney Mountain Road in Ellenborough. Someone had keyed a 2004 Cadillac DeVille that had broken down on the side of the road. Estimated damage to the paint was $400. We had a failure to work after pay, Seaboard Road in Ellenborough. There was $4,800 that was given to a man to be purchasing what was needed to fix a roof, and he did not produce those materials or do the work, and that is being looked at both civilly and criminally. So we'll hopefully come to some sort of conclusion for that victim there. And Jim, that's what we had to report today.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops in 2020 and 2021. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
As North Carolina continues to reopen, retailers are more excited than ever for the summer shopping season, and they look forward to seeing you in their stores. While there are no longer any mask or social distancing requirements, each retailer will make their own decision about how to maintain the safety of their customers and employees. So please continue to be kind to the retail employees who have been on the front lines for the last 14 months, and remember to shop NC. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents North Carolina's dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
North Carolina big man Armando Bacot is returning for his junior season after making himself eligible for the NBA draft. Bacot led UNC with 12.3 points and 7.8 rebounds per game as a sophomore while part of the deep front court. He also shot a team-high 62.8% last season. Major League Baseball has begun its crackdown on the sticky stuff and foreign substances. Umpires are now doing regular checks of all pitchers for tacky substances that could be used to doctor baseballs. Jacob deGrom was the first to be inspected under the new directive that took effect yesterday. In the opener of the Mets doubleheader against Atlanta, the two-time Cy Young Award winner passed when inspected after the first and fifth innings. Any pitcher caught using illegal substances will be ejected and suspended for at least 10 games. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We're going to see temperatures today in the upper 70s and lower 80s with those winds moving in out of the southwest. A few scattered showers will be possible early, but this afternoon it's going to be a soaker out there with showers and thunderstorms building in. Some could be strong to severe, bringing damaging wind speeds into the region. By this evening, we'll be drier and temperatures will fall into the lower 60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
72 degrees here this Tuesday morning. We had some rain, some showers, some drizzle out there. We may get some more throughout today. Rain and possibly heavy at times. New precipitation amounts up to 1/4 of an inch is possible today. Then back down, partly cloudy tonight with lows around 60. Now looking toward the weekend, where a lot of folks like to know, what's the weather going to be this weekend, Jim? Well, Saturday, partly cloudy with some scattered showers, highs around 85. With a 40% chance of precipitation. Gusting winds about 14 miles per hour. Then on Sunday, partly cloudy with showers likely, highs around 84. Chance of precip about 50%. That's how it looks for the weekend. Weather here on WCAB. And according to Peter the meter reader, we're at 72 degrees. Scheduled to have Pat Chamberlain in the studio with me this morning. So far, he has not arrived on the scene, but maybe he has got lost in the municipality of Rutherford County traffic. Maybe heavy traffic out there on a breezeway. But he'll be here, baby. If not, we'll move right along and talk a little bit about what he has going on. Meanwhile, let's do this.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City will once again sponsor the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race on July the 24th. And this year's race will be a live event, pending no changes in the current downward trend of the new COVID cases. Go to www.facebook.com/meetmeatthefountain5k for more information and to get sponsorship forms. All forms must be returned by July the 5th. Beneficiaries this year are the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Yoke Fellow, and the Chase Corner Ministries. And now the soda fountain is now fully open, and Smith's Drugs is no longer offering curbside for the fountain. However, the back door is still locked as Smith's Drugs continues curbside service for the pharmacy only. The COVID-19 vaccination is available Monday through Friday only, and walk-ins are welcome. Again, the soda fountain now open at Smith's Drugs. And don't forget the upcoming 5K race. So get your sponsorship forms at Smith's Drugs in Forest City.
Braves baseball coming up this evening. Again, they're playing the Mets. So we'll see what takes place. They split a doubleheader yesterday. Mets 4, Braves 2 on the first game. In the second game, Braves 1, Mets 0. So we hope he comes in. All right, 8:32. Here comes Pat Chamberlain into the house now. Come on back here, Pat. And we welcome Pat Chamberlain. He's the founder of the Out of the Ashes Ministry. Pat, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing
Thank
today?
You for having me.
Sure, happy to do it. Speaking of that mic a little bit, there you go.
All right.
Out of the Ashes, we've heard a little bit about that over the recent months. Tell us about how you started forming that ministry.
Sure. I appreciate you having us. And Out of the Ashes started out of my home in 2016. I was taking men into my home who were struggling with substance abuse, that were homeless, and the Lord just put it on my heart. He wanted me to help people who were struggling, that were less fortunate. And so we formed Out of the Ashes as a nonprofit in February 2017. And a local lawyer helped me form a charter, Aldridge Law Firm. Has been a big help here in Rutherford County, so helped me get it off the ground.
What is the, how can people get involved with it? Who are you looking at to be able to help minister to? People with substance abuse only?
No. Everybody that's homeless isn't struggling with drugs or alcohol. We have some veterans that struggle with mental health. We have some people that just fall on hard times. They lost a loved one, or substance abuse doesn't discriminate. I've seen it hit some of the best families around, and so, believe it or not, a lot of people end up on pills. They have an accident and become addicted to medication, pain medication and whatnot, and that spirals from there. So that's
sometimes not meaning to, they get addicted to that, and then they become a slave to it sometimes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And how many people can you accommodate at the ministry?
Currently, we can accommodate 25. The men's missions 13, and the women and children's 12. We opened the women's children ministry out in Cliffside, the old country plaza out there, and we're just so grateful for the people that have helped us. We've worked with the tools that we've had. I hear a lot of people talk about what's wrong in the county and what's not here. And bottom line is we have some great people and great resources, and we created a program that helps people regardless of their substance abuse or mental health, family preservation. Big shout out to them. They help with support services and therapy. And the other thing is, you know, most people struggling with homelessness or substance abuse, they didn't wake up and said that was going to be their career. Something happened along the way. There was some trauma that happened, whether that was a death of a loved one, a separation of a family. There's some roots that happen there, and until that's actually addressed, it seems like the cycle continues. So a lot of time it's unforgiveness is what we deal with. So we try to help them make peace with that.
Were anything in your background that caused you to have an even open heart to some of these folks?
Sure. My mother was a single mother who was raising 2 kids. Her and my father separated when I was about 2-3 years old. She was murdered when I was 11, raped, cut open, and thrown in a lake. And I had a bunch of unforgiveness in my heart. And, you know, the good Lord held me in his hand, and he never let go of me. And so I couldn't see back then in the storm that he was preparing me for a time such as this. And so, you know, I know a lot of people are in that storm right now, but I just want to encourage them and let them know that God still has a plan, regardless of where they're at. I know a lot of people that have loved ones that are struggling, parents that reach out, and mamas reaching out about their babies or fathers or grandparents. We've seen them as young as 18, 17 try to come in, and all the way up to 75. So sometimes it's we've had people that had bad problem with their health. No health insurance, no place to go. They lost everything. They went to the hospital, and so that was it. There was no substance issue or anything like that. We have some people now that we're helping that are experiencing various different, I just want to say thank you to everybody who helps us, and anybody that does want to help us can get involved. We're looking for volunteers. We are a nonprofit 501c3, so any contributions is tax deductible, and we have a website, outtheashes.org.
Outtheashes.org.
Yes, sir. We have a P.O. Box 335 out of Bostic, North Carolina, 28018. They can mail in a donation, or if they want to volunteer, they can come by either one of our facilities. We are going to be consolidating our missions is going to be at our new location. And so we've got a praise party this Saturday, and some exciting things for Rutherford County and our region. We thank all our sponsors who's helped us. We've come a long way from bringing people in to my home. God says those who are faithful with a little, he'll bless with more. And so it takes time. It takes time.
And you're seeing that happen, aren't you?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Now tell us a little about the place there in Cliffside. I believe it's you got a cafe that's pretty popular right now too.
Yeah, we just opened the Out of the Ashes Cafe out of the old Country Plaza, and some good home cooking. It also supports the ministry. It gives some of our people who are on hard times the opportunity to get a job, and so that's been a blessing. And we're seeing God's fingerprint in all different areas. I also work with a world-class chef who helps, and she'll do some culinary arts training and custom catering out of Swannanoa. So we do a lot of weddings. I do some catering, and so the ministry is one thing, but I do whatever it takes to take care of my family. So.
In addition to the shelter, of course, if somebody listening this morning might know of someone that they could help get involved in that, what's the process they need to go through to get them there?
Okay. So if somebody is looking for services, what they'll do, call 828-395-2000. That's our main line. Right now, our women's facility is full. We have a couple beds open at our men's facility. We've got 5 babies and 7 mothers. 5 babies under 3 years old right now. Our biggest need is for the babies to help. So, looking for a daycare or somebody that wants to help out, and I think God's answering that need. So. We're just grateful.
Do you have things like bassinets and strollers and diapers and those kind of things too?
Yes, sir. We definitely could use that. All the needs that come with taking care of a baby, and so we're just grateful that we can be part of the solution today. We've had mothers get dropped off with 2 kids, under 3 years old, one on each hip, and all their stuff, and it takes courage for somebody to stand up and do the right thing, and so we're honored that we can lock arms with them and meet them where they're at, and help them, encourage them, and build them back up to their true identity.
And they're not always addicted to drugs. When that happens, they maybe have been misused themselves as mothers or wives or girlfriends.
Yeah, you'd be surprised the trauma that comes with the women and the children. You hear a lot about trafficking with women and children, and so I don't think we've begun to see the need that's so great. Since we opened in November, we've had 50 women and children come through the mission already. And so we opened up the mission right in the midst of the pandemic. So there was just a whole lot that went into that.
Is there a limit of the time they can stay when they come in?
So when they come in, what we do is I'll do a phone assessment. I'll ask them some questions, ask them for 5 short-term goals of what they want to achieve when they come in. Some of the requirements is that they get an assessment from a local licensed provider with therapy or substance support, peer support, whatever that might be, parenting. Recently we're grateful for the organizations that help us, like Hands of Hope just started coming in and helping with the women and children, and Chase Corner Ministries help. A lot of times people come to us, they're off their medicine, majority of times, and so they can't afford it, and they'll help pay for some of the medication needs, and that's a big thing. A lot of people stop taking their medicine or whatnot. We're not a psychiatric facility, and we're not a detox. We've got some great relationships with people that help with that as well. So we'll point them in the right direction. Our new location is going to bring a couple vital assets, and that's going to be an emergency shelter for anybody that doesn't have a place to stay in the middle of the night. They can drop them off at 8, and then they can stay till 6 in the morning, and then they can go about their business from there. We'll drop them off at the bus stop. And then we're also going to have a community resource center where somebody can come and they can find out what resources are in the community, and they can get assistance with getting plugged in with whatever that is. We're excited to be able to ignite the recovery community as well. It's a big thing, a big need in our community to have support meetings and stuff like that. So we'll have 3 meetings a day in the community. Anybody can come, and if they're struggling or whatever the story is. So.
Excuse me. The age, I know you say you have babies come with their mothers, but what are the ages that young men can come?
You mean For the men's mission.
Right.
So 18 unless they have a parent that signs off.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've had parents ask if we'd help them with their kids. And so in the beginning, when I was taking people into my home, there were people coming across the state line. They said, I don't know what you're doing here, but I see God's fingerprint and I want in on it. And the light was going to get cut off, or, I didn't know how all this was going to happen. I remember getting a word from the Lord. He says, I want you to go and help. And I said, well, I don't know where this money's going to come from. He says, I didn't ask you that. Are you going to do it? And so it's been 5 years, and we've seen hundreds of people come through the missions. And so we want to thank, the Grace of God Rescue Mission helped. Brother Terry Hageman had turned over the missions to me. He felt led. He felt like the Lord leading to, and so, and they help us a lot still with supper for our residents and everything. It's just great to see that oneness and see the community piece come together. And recently, we're seeing more and more allegiance and more partnerships. It's good to see Sheriff's Office, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Chris Francis. I was talking to him yesterday, and they're excited about what's going on, because they don't always just want to lock somebody up. It's not. They have a job to do. So, but we're just really grateful just to be able to get in the trenches and help out here and roll up our sleeves. So.
Sheriff Francis told me this morning during the report to tell you hello. He'd see you later this week. He said to you hello. It must have taken a lot of courage and a lot of nerve for you to be able to take people into your home who you did not know, knowing they were going through difficult times.
It takes a special calling. I get about 12 calls a week that people asking. They feel led to do what they see God calling me to do. And, I couldn't do it without the help of my wife and family and support. My wife's been just great. Our kids, they just have a heart for ministry as well. And it's just, you really have to have a call of God on your life. You can't, it takes empathy and compassion, and it's a delicate process.
I know you didn't come here, and I didn't invite you here to beg for money, but it takes a lot of money to do what you do with 2 facilities and helping folks like you do. How do you get your money? How is it raised? Do does United Way help at all, or does it all come from volunteer donations?
Well, most of our support comes from our community. It comes from people that we serve, their families. They see what's going on with their loved one. And so a lot of people ask me, so you don't go asking for money? And I said, no, I believe that the Lord will provide our needs, and we just make do with what we got. And so we do have needs, and we are going to be hiring some additional much needed staff, and we're moving into a new location and taking on some big responsibilities. So
somebody wanted to make a donation to the cause. How do they do that?
They could mail a check to P.O. Box 335, Bostic, North Carolina, 28018. Or they can go to our website, outtheashes.org, and there's a PayPal link, and they can sign up for monthly contributions, newsletters. We send out newsletters, and we send out receipts every month. And it's just a blessing to see what God's doing.
If churches and Sunday school classes or women's groups want to use that as a project, they can certainly get that money to you.
Sure.
Or volunteer to help throughout the day.
Yeah, we'd love to have anybody that has a heart to make a difference partner up with us. This is much bigger than me. This is God's ministry. It's not my ministry. Whatever He wants to do, I'm all right with it. And so if somebody wants to come in and feed the people once a month, or do a Bible study, or just mentor one person, or everybody's got different gifts. So as long as it's in love, we welcome it.
Or eat at the restaurant down in Cliffside.
Right, that's right. Or just come down and eat at the restaurant, some good eating. We've got a good kitchen manager down there, and a short testimony about her. Both her sons come through the program, and she just felt led to get involved with the ministry, and she has experience with food. And so Susan's been a great asset to the ministry. So,
my guest is Pat Chamberlain. He is the founder of Out of the Ashes, and serving a great need here in the community in many different ways. The Lord's really blessed him and touched him, and I wanted him to come, and I heard him speak at our Kiwanis meeting recently, and he spoke at our Sunday school class meeting recently. I was not able to be there that Sunday, but I think our Sunday school class is going to do something. So, Pat, it's a pleasure to have you, and I commend you on what you're doing, and I know you are doing it because you love it.
Yeah, I don't know of anything else I'd be doing. I thank you for inviting us. I ask that people would pray for us, because it is challenging, to say the least. At times there are different challenges. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's just different challenges. So what we do is we solve problems. We're a problem solver. So
it takes a kind of special person to hear that call and follow through with that call. Most people would like to run from it, but you ran to it, so that's good. Pat Chamberlain, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll be back in just a moment.
Rutherford County has a new restaurant that's getting rave reviews. The Carolina Farmhouse Restaurant beside the Tri-City Mall in Forest City. They have some of the best home-cooked meals with all your favorite sides. They have daily meats and vegetables along with burgers, sandwiches, and salads. And don't forget those hot, fresh, plump, buttered dinner rolls. Great dining atmosphere, friendly staff, and quick service. They're open Monday through Fridays from 4 until 9. Call them at 245-7633. That's the Carolina Farmhouse on the 74 bypass in Forest City.
The Braves are out to defend their division crown, and every game matters as the ballparks fill up again.
And it's hit high in the air to deep left center field. You can forget about this one. You want to talk big fly? That's a homer for Ronald Acuna.
Tonight, don't miss another big-time division showdown from Citi Field in New York as Ronald Acuna and the Braves take on the New York Mets. Braves Radio goes on the air at 5:55 Eastern, 4:55 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Again, we appreciate Pat Chamberlain being with us in the Blue Room. I keep wanting to let you folks know there are things going on out there. And that's not always negative. There's some positive things going on. I like to bring you up to date on those as well. So thanks for Pat and his entire team. Many of them volunteer, helping those folks who are struggling and falling on bad times, and he's help them and get through this process. It's 7 minutes before 9 o'clock, and 9:05 this morning is My Great America with Jim and Butch. A couple of other items to set you thinking on some things. With the Supreme Court set to hear a Mississippi case to challenge Roe versus Wade next session, CNN primetime host Chris Fredo Cuomo once again spit venom at those who were pro-life. He flaunted his ignorance of the pro-life movement as he suggested they didn't understand the science, while also being pro-racism and akin to Jim Crow. Like a dunce, he claimed it was the Fourth Amendment that addressed the right to privacy. Teasing his Bolo segment ahead of a commercial break, Fredo put on a serious tone as he warned viewers of Justice Amy Coney Barrett's betrayal of women and reproductive rights. First major test of a woman's right, her liberty controlling what happens to her body, since Trump got his third and final justice on the Supreme Court, has been set. Justice Amy Coney Barrett, her place on the bench as an outspoken advocate against reproductive rights. The next battle in the evolution of Roe versus Wade is upon us. Well, Chris Cuomo is in that same nest of venom pushers. After the break, he knocked Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and the 6-3 decidedly conservative court. Vilifying the conservative justices, he claimed the Supreme Court of the United States that it will hear a case that could remove a woman's right to control their own body. They keep bringing that point up. It's a woman's right to control her body. Well, it's her right to control the body 9 months early, in my opinion. It's too late. It's time now. The baby's coming. It's time to bring that baby into a real world. and let it be the kind of person God intended it to be. The right to choose comes 9 months early. You have a right to do it or not do it, protect yourself or not protect yourself. Don't come up and say it's my right to do it. Well, that's what the left is trying their best to get across. Texas governor effectively eradicates abortion in his state with the new heartbeat law. Governor Greg Abbott signed the heartbeat bill into law Wednesday, banning abortions after 6 weeks when a fatal heartbeat can usually be detected in the state of Texas. Up until this point, state law prohibited abortions after about 20 weeks. The law makes exceptions for medical emergencies. So this bill ensures the life of every unborn child with a heartbeat that will be saved from the ravages of abortion. And that's what really gets me is folks that they know the heart is beating in there, but yet they're willing to let that baby come almost to the point of leaving the mother's womb and still killing that baby. That's the hard part for me to understand, that there's still people whose hearts are that crusty, whose minds are that eroded, that they cannot see that. The law also allows for private citizens to sue abortion providers. It is scheduled to be in effect by September if it does not meet challenges in the court. Abbott said in a bill signing ceremony, our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. So he says in Texas we work to save those lives, and that's exactly what the legislature did this session. So he offered his thanks for all the pro-life groups that worked tirelessly to pass the bill and for everything they do to cultivate a culture of life in Texas. So there are those folks who are willing to fight the cause, and there are more and more of them rising to the occasion and becoming outspoken advocates of pro-life, letting that baby be born, in spite of the fact you might have made a mistake earlier. You don't have to continue making that mistake over and over again, but killing that baby, let the baby be born. All right, I got to get out of here. Rest of the old voice. Get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch. And I'll be back in just a moment. I'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning with a morning wake-up call.
24/7 WCAB is serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Learn more about us at www.wcab59.com.
I'm Sherry Preston. The Senate will today vote on a voting rights bill, but it won't pass. In fact, it won't have the 60 votes needed to even begin debate. Republicans are united in opposing it. ABC senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce with more on why the vote's being taken.
The White House and Democrats know this is going to fail today. So really, this is a test vote that will show whether Democrats themselves are united. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia has been the key holdout here. He was actually here at the White House yesterday meeting with the president. He's still holding his cards close, though, so we'll have to see how this plays out today.
The White House is still trying to work out a compromise bill that would repair and revamp the nation's infrastructure. Republicans against any plan that would raise taxes on the wealthiest Americans or corporations as a way to pay for it. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the encouraging news when it comes to COVID.
The U.S. crossing positive new COVID milestones. More states reporting 0 deaths from COVID. Maryland with 0 COVID deaths for 2 days in a row. And case numbers are down, the lowest daily average since March 2020. About 11,400 cases, nearing Dr. Fauci's benchmark, averaging less than 10,000 new cases a day.
The not so encouraging news, only 38% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 have been vaccinated. They're the most likely group to spread the highly contagious Delta variant.
In weeks to months, it will become the dominant strain here. Now, the good news is the Delta variant is still susceptible to our vaccine, so all the more reason to go out and get vaccinated.
Stanford Medicine's Dr. Ryan Ribera in Toronto. The Delta variant has infected even some who have been vaccinated, but the infections are mild, doctors say. Dozens of people lined the streets of historic Arvada, Colorado last night to honor a police officer who was killed in a shootout with a gunman in a busy shopping district.
A veteran officer with the Arvada Police Department was shot and killed.
Deputy Police Chief Ed Brady, the gunman, and a Good Samaritan who tried to stop it were also killed. You're listening to ABC News.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Electronics prices are on the rise. The latest effect of the worldwide computer chip shortage. Police tracking site says that prices on one popular gaming laptop are up $50 in the last 2 months. A top-selling Chromebook is up $30. Washington, D.C.'s mayor will be on Capitol Hill today testifying before the first Senate Homeland Security hearing on the possibility of making D.C. a state. New York City is trying something new on its primary day.
Primary voters are using ranked choice to help determine the next mayor who will lead the city through pandemic and economic recovery at a time of rising crime. Instead of voting for one candidate, voters rank up to 5 in order of preference, a system tried only in Maine and in a few smaller cities. Once a candidate tips over 50%, they win. Otherwise, last-place candidates are eliminated and their votes are parceled out to second choices until there's a winner. It could take a while in a city not known for its patience. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
A new political party is trying to find its way down the middle of the road. Called the Serve America Movement, its organizers say they see problems on the extreme edges of both the Republican and the Democratic Party. David Jolly, a former Florida congressman, is the national chair.
A lot of people, their politics are all over the left-right spectrum. And so what Sam has done very differently, the Serve America Movement, is we're a true big tent party.
Sam is Serve America Party. It started in Texas, plans to move soon into Pennsylvania and Connecticut. This is ABC News.
Legacy of Rock, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
AC/DC's journey was always fraught with challenges. Lead singer Brian Johnson says it's par for the course.
And they've always had to fight. Rock and roll was always the rebellious music. It's amazing that we're here.
Legacy of Rock, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
I'm Sherry Preston.
We're going to see temperatures today in the upper 70s and lower 80s with those winds moving in out of the southwest. A few scattered showers will be possible early, but this afternoon it's going to be a soaker out there with showers and thunderstorms building in. Some could be strong to severe, bringing damaging wind speeds into the region. By this evening, we'll be drier and temperatures will fall into the lower 60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
72 degrees and light rain this morning. We've had some rain off and on pretty much all morning, and it's going to be that way pretty much all day today. Some rain, which we will accept and appreciate because it is much needed. 5 minutes after 9 o'clock on this terrific Tuesday morning.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch. Welcome back to the Blue Room.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's so great to be back here.
You're missed when you're away.
You know what? It's nice to be missed. It's nice to be part of a family. It's nice to know that you're crying out every day and saying, God, what do you want me to do today? And, you know, I've been on a mission here recently to be light and love and just bring the good news of the gospel into different settings. So I was down at the Faith and Freedom Coalition event down in Orlando at the Gaylord there, which is a spacious facility. They even have alligators and koi inside and waterfalls, and it was like a tropical rainforest. But this is My Great America with Jim and Butch, and for many weeks now, you know, it won't be too long before it's been a year that we've been doing this together.
Wow.
In the spirit of Paul Harvey and Rush Limbaugh and others who bring truth in a definitive kind of way. That's really been our heart and our goal. And Jim, I'll tell you, it was just so great to be down there and hear inspired patriots from so many different parts of the country who were speaking. But you know, I got to tell you a funny story here real quickly.
Okay.
I had media credentials because we made a media badge that says WCAB. You know, it was all under our conversation. You said, Butch, that's fine. And so I registered and I was given media credentials, and we had the vice president there. We had Ron DeSantis, the governor of Georgia. We had Madison Cawthorn. We had two senators, Marsha Blackburn, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. I mean, it was a powerful lineup. Lots of security, lots of state police. So here I am up in the press corps. I'm up in the press corps. You got to envision this picture. And they have rows of tables. You got all these big cameras. You got microphones and everything. I'm there with my WCAB badge on, you know, and I'm sitting next to a local ABC anchor, ABC broadcast affiliate, you know, major for the Orlando area. I had MSNBC on the other side of me. Box was down this way a little bit, and so the MSNBC person leans over and says, so who are you with? I felt the righteous, you know, force of Jesus in me, and I leaned over and I said, WCAB. But the funny thing was the person said, oh yeah, right. So it was great. We had a number of people from our church, my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, my family there. Of course, we're very much committed to what the Bible says about being engaged in the culture, engaged in proclaiming truth. So we've got a whole Israeli army, metaphorically speaking, from our church. We had about 50 people there. And you know, Jason Williams, the head of Faith and Freedom Coalition here in North Carolina, Ralph Reed, the founder, who he and I worked together at CBN years ago. They know that when the folks from our church show up, they're not looking for any attention or acclaim. They just want to help. And so we were there to help. And so many people, Amanda Casillas, Robin Webster, Holly, you know, all these folks, Bryson Smith, you know, was there, Jamie, you know, all of our folks really just want to help and serve and encourage. But I was so blessed by
I want to hear all about it.
The powerful, it wasn't rhetoric. It wasn't kind of this stuff that's just sound bites. Madison Cawthorn was there. I had the opportunity to interview him. And by the way, we're going to end up with some interviews that in the days ahead we'll edit, and we'll use some of those in our programs. But Madison Cawthorn was so strong, unapologetic in saying, look, I'm going to represent the 11th district. I'm going to do it in a way that reflects we love America, we care for America. We're not going to let the history books be scrubbed of all of the American history that we know to be true. He was there so strong and powerful. Mark Robinson was off the charts.
Oh, boy.
He was off the charts. At one point, he had his red napkin, and he was doing doing this, but he was so powerful in pronouncing the biblical foundation for our country that we're not going to just roll over and die. It was a clarion call for patriots to be engaged.
I bet he brought them to their feet, didn't he?
He did. Michael Medved was there. I've met Michael, of course, in the past. He's a cultural critic and a Jewish man that talks a lot about what's happening in Hollywood, and he was just strong and kind of measuring the temperature of things. I ended up sitting next to Eric Metaxas. Eric and I actually knew each other about 20 years ago when he had some involvement with a organization I consulted for called Prison Fellowship, which is founded by Chuck Colson. I have some rich history there. So we were able to reconnect after many years and sat together at the at the banquet. He had his jeans on there with a beautiful coat. Some of the fashion of people is a little different, but he's a strong voice. Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, I had a chance to say hello to him. Ann Wagner, a U.S. representative from Missouri, we had a chance to have a conversation. Beyond that, there were also some wonderful comments that were made by Mark Burns. Mark Burns from South Carolina, who's got the Now television network. And then I think probably my most favorite conversation there was with Ted Cruz.
Really?
Ted was doing a media interview, and I was right there next to him. And a little known fact about Ted, when he was at Princeton, he was very involved in competitive debate. So we had the opportunity to talk about our different experiences in that nationally competitive debate world, and I've got contact information for his media staff, and so I know it's a long shot, but it's my hope that some of these people we're going to get to call in at some point for our program right here in Rutherford County. And then Dinesh D'Souza, if you know that name. He's a very, very powerful voice about what's gone wrong in the country and how we can turn things around. So I felt like I had our flag, Jim. Our WCAB flag. Got some interviews, had some new equipment that I was able to use that FreightWorks had purchased for their purposes, and they graciously let me take that with me. So I was walking around with my boom microphone and talking to people, and it was just great.
Dinesh D'Souza was one of those folks I really admire because he's not afraid to speak up and speak the truth. But he had to go to jail for it, unfortunately, but he didn't mind. He still speaks the truth.
Well, and folks that have been listening here to My Great America will remember that we had former Congressman Steve Stockman on, and of course he had a commutation of his sentence. But I will let you know that Connie Davies from our church is going to have the opportunity to be with he and Patty, his wife, down in Houston, and they have a real heart for a gentleman named John Williams, who is a state representative from Arkansas, I believe it is, and Arkansas or Oklahoma, and he is in prison for similar alleged crimes that Steve Stockman was, and so we're mobilizing to try to help him as best we can, and then there's a real heart for the people that are in prison because of the events that took place on January 6th. A lot of people don't know, including in solitary confinement, there are folks that were arrested because of their alleged role in the January 6th set of events that happened in the Capitol, and their habeas corpus rights and just rights in general, we believe, are being transgressed. And so we never encourage people to do illegal things. I want to make that very clear. When we use metaphors like it's time for us to fight, it's time for us to mobilize, it's time for us to use the weapons God's given us, it is never a license, never an excuse. You will never hear Jim or I tell people to do things that are illegal or things that would create violence or incite other people to it. But we do need to remember the words of the patriots who said extremism in defense of liberty is no vice.
Right.
And so we're not going to be silent. We're not going to slowly go off into the sunset. We're not going to let the culture of America be repurposed for everybody else's purposes and create sort of a salad bar of you can make America whatever you want it to be. No, that's not true. That's not true. And I've been around my friend Jim Bishop enough that I do have a gland in me that activates at some points and has righteous indignation about what's taking place in the nation. And I will make this very, very clear. Anyone who is part of that agenda that I was an architect for, I told people in a recent church radio program, I was constructing the fences, metaphorically, that I was encouraging people to sit on. Talk about people sitting on the fences. I wasn't just sitting on the fence. I was building my own set of fences for people to be able to sit on. And God made it very clear, that's done. You're not doing that anymore, Butch. So our yay is going to be yay, our nay is going to be nay. We're going to speak the truth in love. Love always has to lead because a person will never learn until they know that you love them. But make no mistake about the fact that from this little place at WCAB, there will be nothing but a more aggressive, purposeful, God-driven set of declarations. And one of those declarations is that America is an exceptional nation. It's an exceptional nation not because of our ego or things that we've done. It's an exceptional nation because God in his purpose and plan saw, I believe, the heart of the founders and said, that is a nation that is recognizing my authority. That is a nation that I'm going to bless. So it's our obedience that yields the fruitfulness of righteousness. And when we get away from that by saying, you know what, it's too late, there's nothing I can do, shame on you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot we can do, right, Jim?
Absolutely. I think God raises up in every generation someone to take that lead, someone to do that kind of thing. And sometimes that individual ignores the call, ignores the touch. So I think in that respect, God moves on and touches somebody else's life, raises them up for a time like this. And I think there are those folks that we can name names this morning, probably, of people that I feel like God said, now it's the time for you.
Right. And we've got to be very cognizant of the fact that when God moves, we need to respond. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the example in the New Testament of the pool of Siloam. When the water stirred, that's when there was the opportunity for a miracle that everyone needed. The cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night that is so carefully articulated in Scripture in the Old Testament, that was not something people were plotting out by watching the Weather Channel, the spiritual Weather Channel. When the cloud moved, you moved. Yeah. When the pillar of fire moved, you moved. And God is calling anyone who cares about this nation and cares about the sanctity of life, cares about the constitutional freedoms, cares about a nation that remains true to its footings, not pulled away from its moorings, not staggering from one side of the road like a drunken sailor. God is calling his people to be faithful oracles of truth. And you know what, Jim? I spent most of my life as a debater. So when I get into a conversation with somebody, I have to confess this. God's still working on my heart. There have been times where, and I get prayer for this. I mean, we have Monday night prayer at our church, corporate prayer. Everybody shows up. I've got two dear friends, Chris Carlson Farmer, the construction firm, and Klaus. Klaus is in the shop as a high-level technician at FreightWorks. And we meet together for prayer. Three men, a threefold cord is not easily broken. And I will often text on Monday saying, here are things that we need to pray about. What I have found is the deliverance in my life, God changing me, is in direct proportion to me saying, you know what, I got something that's not right in my life, and I don't want it. I want it to change. And so often we live in these glass houses, and we live in these papier-mâché constructs of our life, and we're not confident enough in Jesus to say, you know what, I want him to change this in me. So one of the things that I've been asking God in the going on 4 years that I've been here is, God, change that thing in me where I was so ready to pull out the weaponry of my rhetorical abilities because of all the years that I spent in debate. And I got some correction here even yesterday. It was really helpful. We were dealing with a situation, and I love correction because it says in Scripture, whom the Lord loves, he corrects. So when I'm getting corrected by somebody who's a godly voice in my life, you know what that means? He loves me. He loves me. So this is classic, though, and it shows that I've got this area that still needs to be worked on. So we had a situation that we were facing as a church. I won't go into details on it right now, but I wrote out this thing. Okay, here are the 5 different ways we can respond to this. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Now, if that happens, we can do that. And it was all of this mental gymnastics and all of the chess that I spent most of my life playing. And the response from my pastor was so good, and it went right to it wasn't a lot of words, it went right to the core of an issue and a matter that needs to change in me. The response was no. We hear from God and do what he says. I needed that. I needed that because all the years of being a strategist and being a tactician or being a chess player in all these different worlds, God wants to change that. And what I'm learning, Jim, and it's so powerful, is when like the Apostle Paul said, I must decrease so he can increase. The only thing God needs is for me to trust, repent, and obey. The only 2 assignments I have. It makes life very simple for me. I lived in a very rarefied world. I have 2 assignments every day: to know Jesus and to make him known. And somehow the centering of that, for somebody that has lived in the complexities of life and big ministries and organizations, and the centrality of that has been so powerful in my life, to know him and to make him known in whatever setting I'm in.
I think that's very, very powerful, and it's hard for a lot of us to comprehend that kind of closeness, that kind of reality, though. But it's very powerful what you just said.
Well, and you know what? We're all works in progress. As my pastor often says, we're all getting a hold of Jesus and letting Jesus get a hold of us. But I will tell you this: it's not wrong to have righteous indignation. I just need to make sure I'm not cocking the pistols underneath the table, ready to go into a gun battle that God hasn't called me into. Here is a gun battle God has called me to go into, and us to go into, Jim, together. It is absolutely wrong, and it's diabolical, demonic, and it comes from the pit of hell when people say we're going to strip American history of any vestige of God's imprint and fingerprints on the nation. I heard somebody recently, I've read this and I also heard it, somebody say, the president doesn't need God's help to run the country. And I thought to myself, what an incredibly evil thing to say. And so it took me back into history, which I love. And listen to this. For those who say, if you're listening, and I'm sure if you're listening to this program, unless you're wanting to change, you're probably not going to listen to it regularly. But if you know somebody that's wallowing in the deception of a belief that somehow America is not a chosen nation and that God didn't birth this nation, listen to what some of the early presidents said. I never grow tired of hearing our history speak to our present because it will inform our future. Listen to this. This is Abraham Lincoln. You've heard of him. He was our 16th president. In regard for this great book, I have this to say. It is the best gift God has given to man. All the good Savior gave to the world was communicated through this book we call the Bible. Andrew Jackson, the 7th president, that book, sir, is the rock on which our republic rests. What about Woodrow Wilson, our 28th president? The Bible is the one supreme source of revelation of the meaning of life, the nature of God, and spiritual nature and needs of men. It is the only guide of life which really leads the spirit in the way of peace and salvation. Woodrow Wilson. America was born a Christian nation. America was born to exemplify the devotion to the elements of righteousness which are derived from the revelations of Holy Scripture is our only path. What about Calvin Coolidge? By the way, Calvin Coolidge was the one during one of his State of the Union addresses, I believe it was, who said when unemployment rises, more and more people are out of work. Sometimes we just need clarity in things. Calvin Coolidge, he was our 30th president. The strength of our country is the strength of its religious convictions. The foundations of our society and our government rest so much on the teachings of the Bible that it would be difficult to support them if faith in these teachings would cease to be practically universal in our country. What about Franklin Roosevelt? our 32nd president. We cannot read the history of our rise and development as America without reckoning the central place the Bible has occupied in shaping the advances of the Republic. Where we have been the truest and most consistent in obeying its precepts, we have attained the greatest measure as a nation of contentment and prosperity. Or finally, Harry Truman. He was known for saying a lot of things, but none more true than this, 33rd president. The fundamental basis of this nation's laws was given to Moses on the Mount. The fundamental basis of our Bill of Rights comes from the teachings we get from Exodus and St. Matthew, from Isaiah and St. Paul. If we don't have a proper fundamental moral background, we will finally end up with a totalitarian government which does not believe in rights for anybody but the state. These are all presidents. Now, I just challenge, not in a way that's fleshly or soulish, anyone who says our nation does not have a biblical foundation. What do you do with the existential evidence of presidents behind the resolute desk, and we need more resolute people behind the resolute desk proclaiming things like this? And so many of the presidents have said that when they leave office, they have a more profound sense of the importance of God in their life because the weight of world decisions rests on them. So much more in our life, Jim. We need to get back to the basics, as you often say.
When did all that stop? When did this stop? When the presidents began to recognize the Bible and the Scriptures being profound? When did that stop?
I think we had a frog in the kettle situation that took place, Jim, where slowly over time, as people became more man and woman pleasers, as we had polls that started to become more important in projecting who might win, we had people, instead of letting conviction guide their words and their policies, started licking their finger and putting it up to the wind, saying which way is the country going. The role of leadership, as defined in Scripture, is to define reality. All the great leaders in Scripture looked at the situation and communicated to the people, this is where we are. Then they would say, with God's help, this is where we need to go. And because of the credibility of their voice and convictions, people would follow them. But how can you follow a pastor, a leader in a corporation, or a president when the person's personal life is in such disarray, or their lack of conviction doesn't inspire any kind of confidence? There's a scripture, I don't remember where it is, maybe somebody can call in at some point and let us know. There's a scripture that says you cannot blow an uncertain trumpet. Can you imagine what would have happened at Jericho if all the trumpeters couldn't figure out their note, or didn't know where their trumpet was, or they didn't respond to God's clear command? God told them very specifically when to blow the trumpets. If you had people in eagerness blowing too soon, or lackadaisically blowing too late, those walls would not have come down. And that's true in our life too. That's why in the spirit of John 5:30, we must hear the voice of God and do what he says, because when we do that, miracles take place, Jim. I came back a little wired up.
Yeah.
Not wired up, but inspired. Forgive me.
Well, look how many times they had to walk around that wall before it actually got the result. They didn't give up after the first, this is not going to work. I had no need for us to do this, but they kept marching, they kept walking, they kept blowing.
Right.
And
we need to remember, though, that it's on Christ the solid rock we stand.
That's right.
No other ground is, all other ground is sinking sand. These are more than songs. They're declarations, Jim. And so as we move into the week, and by the way, I leave on a flight this afternoon. I'm just a couple of quick things on that. I'm back up to make the next steps with my mother. I'm driving her up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She's probably going to sign the lease on the new place that she'll be at. She'll meet with a new primary care physician. I'll meet with the aunts. I'll get time with my number of my relatives. I think I told you it's 120 some odd relatives within 40 or 50 square miles there, so I'll be up there. I did learn also, though, that on Friday, Jim, I will be, on Thursday night, I'll be flying to Dallas, and Samuel Perez has a Quick Lot store that's going to be at 140,000 square feet, largest store of its kind in America. We put out a media release, and it got picked up by the major CBS station there, the Dallas Morning News, and others. Wow. So I'll be doing a media day where I'm interviewed on Friday, so I'll call in, and I'll take our little WCAB into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex with God's help. and with the humility that comes in knowing we cannot do anything of our own accord. I talked a lot today, but I was full.
Oh, that's great. You did great. It's time to go.
It's time to go, but as we say, make your life purposeful today. Get a hold of what God wants for your life, and as you do that, we'll make a great county, a great North Carolina, and together we'll see a great America.
See you next time.
See you next time, Jim.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.
We're going to see temperatures today in the upper 70s and lower 80s with those winds moving in out of the southwest. A few scattered showers will be possible early, but this afternoon it's going to be a soaker out there with showers and thunderstorms building in. Some could be strong to severe, bringing damaging wind speeds into the region. By this evening, we'll be drier and temperatures will fall into the lower 60s tonight. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
The music's on us, WCAB.